Verona Market Square pulses with life as merchants call out, citizens gossip, and children laugh. Samson and Gregory, Capulet servants, arrive armed, their swagger cutting through the festive atmosphere. Samson and Gregory bristle with animosity, their taunts cutting through the vibrant market square. Samson boasts, his words sharp as a blade, while Gregory dismisses him with sardonic eye rolls. Tension thickens as Abram and Balthazar appear, their presence igniting the simmering conflict. In Verona's bustling market square, Samson's smirk hides a provocation as he bites his thumb, igniting a feud. Abram's face hardens, accepting the challenge, as insults escalate into a chaotic brawl. Swords clash in a dance of steel, drawing the curious eyes of the crowd. Amidst the chaos of Verona Market Square, Benvolio advances, drawing his sword not to engage, but to quell the rising conflict. "Part, fools! Put up your swords! You know not what you do." Benvolio's voice cuts through the tumult. Tybalt storms into the Verona Market Square, his face twisted in fury. He sees Benvolio attempting to quell the escalating brawl. Tybalt regards Benvolio's attempt to stop the fight as a betrayal. "What? Art thou drawn among these heartless hinds? Turn thee, Benvolio. Look upon thy death." Verona erupts into chaos as a street fight breaks out, with Tybalt brandishing his sword, ready to strike. Citizens cry out. Clubs, bills, and partisans, strike! Beat them down! Down with the Capulets! Down with the Montagues! Capulet demands. "What noise is this? Give me my long sword." "Ho!" Lady Capulet scoffs. "A crutch! A crutch! Why call you for a sword?" Capulet roars. "My sword, I say. Old Montague has come and flourishes his blade in spite of me." Montague is held back, his face contorted with anger as he struggles. Montague shouts, "Thou villain Capulet! Hold me not, let me go." Lady Montague's voice rings out. "Thou shalt not stir one foot to seek a foe." Prince Aeschylus commands. "Rebellious subjects, enemies to peace, profaners of this neighbor-stained steel, will they not hear?" Prince Aeschylus continues. "On pain of torture, from those bloody hands throw your mistempered weapons to the ground and hear the sentence of your moved prince." Prince Aeschylus stands, his voice cutting through the street's unrest. "3 civil brawls, bred of an airy word, by thee, old Capulet, and Montague, have thrice disturbed the quiet of our streets," he declares. "If ever you disturb our streets again, your lives shall pay the forfeit of the peace." The prince warns, his gaze unwavering. With finality, he commands, "Once more, on pain of death, all men depart." Montague stands in his hall, worry etched deeply on his face. Benvolio recounts the morning's events, his expression serious. Montague asks, "Who set this ancient quarrel new abroach? Speak, nephew. Were you by when it began?" Lady Montague listens intently, her brow furrowed with concern. "Oh, where is Romeo? Saw you him today?" "Right glad I am he was not at this fray." Benvolio replies, "Here were the servants of your adversary and yours, close fighting ere I did approach." In the dimly lit Montague house, Benvolio stands, recounting his early morning encounter. Benvolio explains, "Madam, an hour before the worshipped sun peered forth the golden window of the east, a troubled mind drove me to walk abroad." He continues, "So early walking did I see your son. Towards him I made, but he was ware of me, and stole into the covert of the wood." Benvolio concludes, "Pursued my humor, not pursuing his, and gladly shunned who fled from me." Beneath the morning sun, Montague and Benvolio wander through the bustling streets of Verona, a stark contrast to the shadows that plague their thoughts. Montague voices his concern. "I am worried about Romeo." He isolates himself, consumed by a deep sadness. The vibrant market surrounds them, oblivious to the melancholy gripping the house of Montague. In the dimly lit chamber, Romeo sits alone, consumed by his thoughts. Benvolio enters, seeking to draw Romeo out of his sorrow. Romeo remains silent, unwilling to reveal the source of his pain. Amidst the lively Verona street, Romeo and Benvolio walk together, their figures silhouetted against the vibrant backdrop. Benvolio's brow furrows with concern as he gently presses Romeo to reveal the source of his sorrow. "Romeo, you've been so downcast lately. What troubles you?" Romeo's voice resonates with melancholy as he confesses. "Ah, Benvolio, it is love, or rather, the lack thereof, that plagues me." With a mixture of compassion and curiosity, Benvolio inquires, "Unrequited then? Who is the cruel beauty that causes you such pain?" Romeo's face is etched with unfulfilled longing as he describes his unrequited love. "It is Rosaline. Her beauty is like a fire, warming me from afar, yet burning me when I draw near. Love is a smoke made with the fume of sighs, being purged, a fire sparkling in lovers' eyes, being vexed to see, nourished with lovers' tears. What is it else? A madness most discreet, a choking gall, and a preserving sweet." In the dimly lit streets of Verona, Romeo walks alone, lost in thought, his footsteps echoing in the stillness. Benvolio hurries to catch up, his face etched with worry, breaking the silence of the night. Benvolio attempts to comfort Romeo, as the morning sun casts long shadows. Benvolio speaks. Soft, I will go along. And if you leave me so, you do me wrong. Romeo replies, Tut, I have lost myself. I am not here. This is not Romeo, has some other where. Benvolio asks, Tell me in sadness, who is that you love? Romeo confesses. In sadness, cousin, I do love a woman. Benvolio and Romeo walk along a bustling street, their figures stark against the lively backdrop. Benvolio urges, Be ruled by me, forget to think of her. Romeo retorts with a heavy heart. Oh, teach me how I should forget to think. Benvolio counters with a wave of his hand. By giving liberty unto thine eyes, examine other beauties. Romeo dismisses the advice, his voice laced with pain. 'Tis the way to call hers, exquisite, in question more. Lost in the shadows of Verona, Romeo searches endlessly, his heart heavy with sorrow. Romeo, haunted by love, declares, Farewell, thou canst not teach me to forget. Benvolio, walking beside Romeo, vows, Ill pay that doctrine, or else die in debt. Capulet and Paris walk along a bustling Verona street, discussing weighty matters amidst the vibrant chaos. Capulet pauses, his voice grave. My child is yet a stranger in the world, he urges, but woe her, gentle Paris, get her heart. Capulet extends an invitation. At my poor house look to behold this night, earth, treading stars that make dark heaven light. Capulet and Paris leave. The servant examines the list, his expression confused. The servant squints at the list, struggling to read the names. Find them out whose names are written here. I must to the learned. Romeo trudges along Verona Street, a shadow of unrequited love clinging to him. Benvolio tries to cheer up Romeo. Tut, man, one fire burns out, another's burning. A servant approaches, seeking help. I pray, sir, can you read? Romeo, lost in his thoughts, replies, Aye, mine own fortune in my misery. The servant persists. Can you read this list, sir? Romeo and Benvolio walk through the bustling streets of Verona, sunlight dancing on the ancient cobblestones. A servant approaches, parchment clutched in his hand, his brow furrowed in confusion as he struggles to read. On Verona Street, a servant squints at a list, muttering names. Signor Martino and his wife and daughters, County Anselmo and his beauteous sisters, the lady widow of Utruvio, Signor Placentio and his lovely nieces, Mercutio and his brother Valentine, mine uncle Capulet, his wife and daughters, my fair niece Rosaline and Livia, Signor Valentio and his cousin Tybalt, Lucio and the lively Helena. He pauses, puzzled. Whither should they come? Amidst the vibrant Verona street, a cloaked Romeo intercepts the servant. The servant, burdened and hurried, halts, his brow furrowed with slight annoyance. Romeo probes. Whither to supper? The servant responds. Now he'll tell you without asking. My master is the great rich Capulet, and if you be not of the house of Montagues, I pray come and crush a cup of wine. Rest you merry. On Verona Street, Benvolio seizes the moment. At this same ancient feast of Capulets sups the fair Rosaline whom thou so lovest, Benvolio declares. Go thither, and with unattainted eye, compare her face with some that I shall show, and I will make thee think thy swan a crow. Romeo stands firm, his gaze intense as he declares. When the devout religion of mine eye maintains such falsehood, then turn tears to fire. Romeo continues with unwavering conviction. One fairer than my love, the all-seeing sun near, saw her match since first the world begun. Benvolio retorts. Tut, you saw her fair, none else being by, herself poised with herself in either eye. Benvolio concludes, challenging Romeo. And she shall scant show well, that now shows best. Romeo stands firm, his resolve etched in his features. Romeo declares, Ill go along, no such sight to be shown, but to rejoice in splendor of my own. In a richly adorned room, Lady Capulet enters with the nurse, her impatience clear. Lady Capulet's voice echoes with authority. Nurse, where's my daughter? Call her forth to me. The nurse calls, Now, by my maidenhead, at 12-year-old, I bade her come. What, lamb? What, ladybird? God forbid. Where's this girl? What, Juliet? Juliet enters, her demeanor gentle. The nurse points. How now, who calls? The nurse replies, Your mother. Juliet responds, Madam, I am here. What is your will? Lady Capulet begins. This is the matter. Nurse, give leave a while. The nurse, bubbling with enthusiasm, launches into a lively tale, her words painting vivid images of the past. Faith, I can tell her age unto an hour. She's not 14, the nurse insists. her conviction unwavering. Lady Capulet interjects, "A fortnight and odd days." The nurse triumphantly declares, "Even or odd, of all days in the year, come Lammas Eve at night, shall she be 14. The nurse is lost in her memories, rambling about times long past. Susan and she, God rest all Christian souls, were of an age. Well, Susan is with God, she was too good for me. But as I said, on Lammas Eve at night shall she be 14. That shall she, Mary, I remember it well. 'Tis since the earthquake now 11 years, and she was weaned. I never shall forget Itoff all the days of the year. Upon that day." Lady Capulet shifts, impatience flickering across her face. Lady Capulet interrupts, "Enough of this. I pray thee hold thy peace." The nurse stands firm, her voice ringing through the room as she recounts the past. "Yes, madam," the nurse recounts. "Yet I cannot choose but laugh, to think it should leave crying, and say, 'Aye,'" Juliet interjects, her patience wearing thin. "And stint thou too, I pray thee, nurse, say I." The nurse, relenting, declares, "Peace, I have done." The nurse's expression softens with affection. "God mark thee to his grace. Thou wast the prettiest babe that year I nursed, and I might live to see thee married once. I have my wish." In Juliet's chamber, Lady Capulet sits with Juliet and the nurse as sunlight bathes the room. Lady Capulet turns to Juliet, initiating a delicate conversation. "Let's talk about marriage, Juliet. What are your thoughts?" In Juliet's chamber, Lady Capulet and the nurse sing praises of Paris, their voices weaving a tapestry of admiration. The nurse gestures wildly, her eyes sparkling with fervent enthusiasm, painting a vivid portrait of Paris allure. Juliet sits composed on her bed, her gaze distant, listening to the elaborate flattery. Lady Capulet declares, "Paris is a handsome match, Juliet. A man of wealth and noble standing." The nurse chimes in, "Aye, a man of wax. A flower, I say. You will not find a finer gentleman." Juliet's eyes dart around the room as she cautiously responds, a subtle furrow appearing on her brow, hinting at inner conflict. "I will look to like, if looking liking move. But no more deep will I endart mine eye, than your consent gives strength to make it fly." The servant announces, "Madam, the guests are come. Supper served up. You called. My young lady asked for." The nurse cursed in the pantry, and everything in extremity. The servant urges urgently, "I must hence to wait. I beseech you follow straight." Lady Capulet, adorned in rich attire, prepares to leave with Juliet and the nurse, the room echoing with unspoken expectations. "Remember, Juliet, County Paris awaits. Make a good impression." The nurse fusses over Juliet's dress, whispering, "Seek happy nights to happy days, my lamb." Juliet's face is a canvas of doubt as the weight of her mother's words settles heavily on her. Under the cloak of night, Romeo, Mercutio, Benvolio, and a band of masked figures advance along Verona's darkened street. Torches flicker, painting dancing shadows as laughter and music herald their approach to the Capulet's masked ball. Romeo trails behind, his face a mask of melancholy amidst the revelry. On Verona Street, Mercutio, with flamboyant gestures, tries to lift Romeo's spirits. Mercutio insists, "Nay, gentle Romeo, we must have you dance." Romeo rebuffs him. "Not I, believe me. I have a soul of lead." Benvolio urges, "Come, knock and enter." And no sooner in, but every man betake him to his legs. Romeo stops abruptly on Verona Street, his face half hidden in shadow, his voice heavy with foreboding. Romeo says, "I dreamt a dream tonight." Mercutio responds, his tone light, "And so did I." Romeo presses, "Well, what was yours?" Mercutio retorts dismissively, "That dreamers often lie." Romeo concludes, a sense of dread in his voice, "'Tis no whit to go." Under the cloak of night, Romeo, Mercutio, and Benvolio approach the Capulet party, their masks concealing their identities. Laughter and music fill the air, a stark contrast to the turmoil brewing within Romeo. Mercutio's high spirits clash with Romeo's pensive mood as Benvolio attempts to maintain harmony. Under the cloak of night in Verona, Mercutio begins his Queen Mab speech, setting the stage for a descent into dream. The world melts into a surreal dreamscape. Miniature fairies race in chariots of spiderwebs, their tiny forms weaving through the night. A courtier dreams of smelling out a suit, his senses heightened in the intoxicating realm of dreams. A lawyer dreams of fees, his mind consumed by the relentless pursuit of wealth. A soldier dreams of battle, his subconscious replaying scenes of valor and violence. The dream shatters, leaving Romeo standing on the Verona street, visibly shaken. Romeo murmurs, "My mind misgives some consequence yet hanging in the stars." He whispers, "But he that hath the steerage of my course, direct my suit."